you see John Madden now on TV and how comfortable he is. I remember after he finished coaching the Raiders, how he started to do car commercials, and he didn't seem all that at ease with that. What were your first on-camera jobs?
I had a diary show on HBO where I wrote, I literally wrote the show, wrote it on a scroll teleprompter, which is kind of just you write it on the scroll, and I ran the teleprompter under my seat because the budget only supplied the cameraman and myself. So I wrote, produced, did all that for that, so it was a nice experience on that. And I did some stuff for Roy Firestone on ESPN. But when I left football and went into Fox Sports, the Fox Sports job was my first job, yeah.
Well, you did some TV commercials too, right?
Yeah, I did some stuff. I did Razor commercials. I worked for Hanes Underwear a little bit. Yeah.
How comfortable were you with that, doing stuff over and over and over again like that?
Television commercials are probably the most tedious medium there is in that venue because you know, especially when you're doing underwear, you know, they've got someone there and they you know, you have to make sure there's nothing, you know, exposed or anything, and they try to put things down, and they're always fixing your underwear, and there's a woman coming in and fixing your underwear. It's an uncomfortable thing. Yeah.
You know, I think of.
But it sent the kids to college.
You know, I think of you know, some former athletes when they go to Hollywood. Sometimes some people kind of rush that process. I remember Joe Namath doing a movie with Anne Margaret that didn't do all that well. You seem to be have a game plan for your career. I'm just wondering, what kind of movies did you turn down before taking this?
We turned down a lot of leads, things that, you know, I won't get into that were made because I don't want to be insulting to the people that took it, or I just didn't see myself doing the over the top action thing, and I'm really not. I'm not interested in doing a lot of the rolling around in the bed, moonlight through the Venetian blinds thing. You know, I don't think my kids would be real enthusiastic about that, and I know my wife wouldn't be enthusiastic about that. It's just a hunch.
Yeah. You know, I've been on a few stories where we did like minor brush fires, and I've never been so scared in those situations. Were there any scenes that kind of gave you cause for concern doing this movie?
Pick a scene. The movie was very fast-paced. I mean, I did a number of things that I've never dreamt that I would do. You know, running through fire up to my neck and diving. The water was 38 degrees that you see us in. It was in British Columbia, north of Vancouver. Rappelling down off a 75-foot telephone pole. You know, you have to do it quickly and look like you're a professional. You know, the training center that. Did you see the film?
Oh yes, yeah.
After the first 15 minutes of transition, after the hat flies in the air, and I'm at the top of the pole, and you know, to look good doing that it's a lot harder than you would think. And the key is not to, you know, don't look down because it's kind of hairy, and the motorcycle work and the hanging out of a helicopter. There were a lot of things that gave me concern. Sure, yeah, it's that kind of film.
You know, the pyrotechnics part, that would scare me. Were you going around the set talking to the technicians saying, okay, so what movies have you worked on? How experienced are you?
Well, I really was, and I did a lot of that, honestly, I did a lot of that beforehand. I was driving the studio crazy, you know. I'm the kind of person that wants to make sure, if I have a reservation to make on an airplane, I want to make it myself. If you know, I'll go out and dig the hole in the yard myself. I want to do things myself to make sure they're done right. And the frustrating thing about this, and you have to trust people, is there's so many facets to making a film of this magnitude that you have to trust people. And I wanted to know who the fire people were. I wanted to know who the effects people were. I wanted to know who the cast was going to be. And you just want to make sure you have every opportunity to be successful and also get out of there alive. Yeah, they did GoldenEye, and they also did the new Bond film, and the second unit director did True Lies. So we were in very good hands.
And one last question. I'm doing a piece on people who are interviewed a lot. I don't know if you saw the movie Bull Durham, but there's a great scene where Kevin
on
Costner,
the bus.
Well, I want to see where Kevin Costner coaches Tim Robbins
On the bus, yeah.
about doing
I've seen
interviews.
it. I've
yeah.
seen Bull Durham
Yeah.
maybe 40 times, I think.
Well, when you were an athlete,
I got 3 sons.
Okay. Well, when you were an athlete, how many truly original questions did you hear in the locker room, or did you hear a variation of the same questions over and over again?
Yeah, it's a variation of the same questions over and over again. Very few times do you find in that setting that because it's such a specific topic and it's already been done, and you have to find different ways to do it. And oftentimes you're sitting with a crowd of 30 reporters around you at one time around your locker, and you're half buck naked, and you're doing this interview, and there's women in the locker room, and it's an uncomfortable setting. I got the same thing a lot, yeah. And then you have to find a creative way. You have a job to do, and I have a job to do, and I know what you're looking for.